ZAC SNYDER on Batman v Superman and the Martha line. He was on Josh Horowitz show, Happy, Sad, Confused. I have the clip queued up.
Do it.
Thanks to Atomic Lori. Let's watch it. I really am excited. I haven't even seen the clip, so I don't know where to end it, but let's watch. Here we go.
A little flack at the time. Jesse's like performance it's a big performance, like it's and in contrast to the rest of the film, and it's obviously purposeful in that way. And then 100%. I don't know if you test screened the film at all, but like I'm curious, like we've talked about, and you're probably sick of even hearing the word Martha, but like to have that appropriated, what is such a key plot point, and you're building to that, and then to have it become memeified and kind of made fun of must really stick in your craw a little bit, because from your perspective it's a meaningful.
100%. My 100% honest reaction to BVS and how it's received in the world is that it's really the question about, like, and I've said this quite a bit, like, do you really want a movie that's had all the edges shaved off it by the focus groups? Do you really want a movie that has been like decisions have been made in the boardroom or tested ideas are being rendered for your enjoyment? Like, do you really want the Kmart version of your story? Is that what you really want? Because like, I would argue that like, that's fine. And it's fine to like make fun of Martha. It is true in canon. It is true in canon that Batman and Superman's mother are both named Martha. That is a fact of the comic book world.
Yes.
Whether or not that is a thing that you feel like Batman with the hovering the spear of destiny over Superman's heart, those words, seeing this, what he believes a creature, that this thing that he's demonized in his mind is got a mother named Martha. If there's another thing that could touch him, that could have been cool. We just felt like this was an obvious way in. And so again, it just goes, I think BBS really landed at this time when, this genre, like superheroes. And I think
I'll take a couple things, quick comments. What's the beaver on ZAC SNYDER's desk? What's it doing there? I love all the ephemera in his office. I really love seeing vinyl, and axe is in the background. Like I love all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice beaver.
By the way, I'll take ZAC SNYDER and his movies with flaws over what James Gunn is doing. Straight up. I'm sorry. And he's right. The Kmartification, the overproduced and overnoted movies. You've got one vision, whether you like that vision or not, or you accept it with flaws. Too many movies are overnoted. The Fantastic Four seemed like one of those movies. The recent one with Pedro Pascal seemed like lots of notes coming from the studio, and we've got to have diverse casting, and we got to have this, and HR department wants this, and marketing wants this, and this. The Fantastic Four seemed like that. It wasn't a singular vision. It was a movie perverted by too many people wanting to have their 2 cents. And I mean, I don't know. Again, I mean, I'll defend it. I'll take ZAC SNYDER with flaws over what James Gunn is doing, because from what I've seen from James Gunn, the first Superman movie and Peacemaker season 2, I just in the end didn't like it. So I don't know. There's a little bit more, Alan. Sorry to if you have any comments here, but let's finish.
I'll comment after.
I'll finish his thoughts.
Cut my teeth on Watchmen, and so Watchmen was never
There's the beaver. Do you see it? It's very prominent beaver in this.
I mean, okay. I thought it was the popcorn bucket, but it looks like an actual beaver.
Is an actual stuffed beaver.
Meant as a glorification of the genre. You know what I mean? It was never meant, like, there's no Watchmen 2, though it's been suggested, you know? I guess my point is that, like, this is like a novel, you know, like Watchmen is a work of literature. It's not meant to be like franchised and turned into something else. And so, like, that's where I was sort of coming from with this sort of giant story that we were telling with Superman, BVS, Justice League, and beyond. This was a universe a mythological universe that we saw had an ending, you know, and it was like, it was only gonna, you know, it was like a flower. It was gonna bloom and be glorious and then die. And then we would have been done with it. You know, I love this sort of mythological journey that we went on anyway with these three movies. Like, I mean, the like intensity of where we ended up with Justice League and how it evolved and where it came from and where that whole insanity, which is another, we'll talk about that on the 10-year anniversry of Justice League. Because that might be a two-parter. But you know, I just think that, you know, things like Martha or you know, whether or not Batman should fight. So we're like, the thing that was funny was like when we were trying for the R rating or the PG R rating, we were trying for the PG-13 for the movie. The MPAA kept kicking the movie back to us, saying like, it's still an R, it's still an R. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're taking everything out. And I remember someone saying, we got a report from the MPAA saying like, we just don't like the idea of Batman fighting Superman. Okay. So it's kind of that's going to be a hard one
to go back into the edit room.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you guys want then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he really hits him hard with that, like, sink. That's rude. You know, like that feels like an R. He throws him down on those radiators. Like, that's rude. That's mean. And I'm just like, okay, well, you guys are like, can you please okay, let's just pretend it's not Batman versus Superman for 1 second. You know, I just think that like, we should realize then that we were kind of kicking the zeitgeist in the nuts a little bit, you know, that we were going to anger people because they didn't, like I said, they don't want, not only do they not want their heroes deconstructed, they don't want their heroes battling each other on a road to deconstructing the why of their existence. You know, that is another sacrilege. But in the end, like I say, it is meant as a litmus that confirms their worthiness, you know. So,
right.
Well, if it wasn't,
I think that's
man. Okay, what do you think, Alan?
Well, I think, well, to your point, I'm not gonna, you know, engage into presentism and say just because you dislike James Gunn that makes this better. I mean, I viscerally remember the moment the line was said, why did you say that name? Realizing that this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. My eyes rolled so much, it made me look more Asian than I actually am. I mean, it's like, really, this is the sad thing about this clip, is that it confirms what I thought was that this dumb moment in the movie was intentional. This dumb moment in the movie was what this movie was building to, that they had the same, their mothers had the same name. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate this movie so much. And walked away just like, I mean, is bad enough I didn't like Man of Steel. But this one was just like icing on the cake. And look, I'll put the final nail in my coffin. I hated the Snyder cut. The only thing I liked about the Snyder cut of Justice League was the ending, was the final battle scene, because that was ostensibly better than what Joss Whedon gave us.
I like ZAC Snyder's Justice League. I like the Snyder cut. I like the black and white version. I like what it implied it was leading to with a showdown with Darkseid. again, I'll say it. I prefer a flawed Zack Snyder vision than James Gunn's vision, which I think doesn't move the genre forward. We've seen goofy superhero visions before. And what I liked, I really think the superhero film kind of peaked with The Dark Knight. Like, you can say something meaningful in a superhero story. And now we've just got cameo fests and
I mean, I like James Gunn Superman, but I agree with you. It needed to elevate Superman. It needed to bring back the old school superhero film.
Well,
and I'm thinking of Donner's Superman. And it didn't do that, but again, I was okay with it. I had fun with it.
I think what he should have done is built up the heroic version before you deconstruct the characters. Maybe give us the peak version of Superman, the good Superman.
I agree with you.
Same thing with Batman. Get them to peak, then deconstruct and begin to question. But the very existence of Superman was questioned as he revealed himself to the world. And look, I think that could have happened later. But I think the ideas he explored were worth exploring. And looking back, I can pop on Man of Steel and really enjoy myself. But Gunn's Superman, it doesn't hold up. I think it's very surface level, and surface level while thinking it's profound. And
the other thing that stuck out to me in that interview was the MPAA.
Yeah,
the fact that they gave it a rated R rating because they didn't like the idea of Superman fighting Batman. I mean, that's not what the MPAA is for. It's not to say, oh, I don't like your movie, so I'm going to give it a rated R or an NC-17. It's there to say, what is the content and is it appropriate for certain age levels? And I will ask the question of what would that movie have looked like, in the earlier drafts when the MPAA turned down its PG-13 rating, and then they had to redo it in order to get it to that PG-13, which they were never going to get unless they can convince the MPAA that the plot wasn't the reason why it needed to be rated R.
I'll end with this. I think Zack Snyder was at least attempting to explore new ideas and make superhero movies for adults. And I think Gunn is making movies for kids and teens and people who like puppies and dogs and cute things. And I don't care.